Welcome. Tonight panel explores how the dreaming, the foundational spiritual worldview of the original people, shaped modern land right movements. This struggle long predates the courts. The 1966 Wave Hill Walk-Off and the 1967 referendum marked turning points where Aboriginal people demanded recognition of land, citizenship, and sovereignty.
Yet the legal system continued to operate under terra nullius, the British doctrine falsely claiming Australia belonged to no one because it did not recognise Indigenous law, ownership, or governance. That fiction shaped over 200 years of dispossession until the landmark cases of Mabo versus Queensland, the Native Title Act, and Wik Peoples versus Queensland began to dismantle it. The dreaming is not a memory, it is law, it is identity. It is a living system that connects ancestors, country, people, stories, responsibilities, and future generations. Every river, hill, and songline holds obligations. These are not symbolic, they are the legal and spiritual foundations of who we are.
Because land is relational rather than possessive, this possession factors far more than livelihood. It disrupts ceremony, obligations, and spiritual continuity. Seeking land recognition is seeking restoration of a living relationship, not simply land rights.
On Mur, my people always knew which land belonged to which family. Our law came from our ancestors, but the Australian legal system refused to see it. Under terra nullius, it claimed that no Indigenous law existed. That fiction erased our governance. The Marvel case provided what we always knew. Our land continued, our ownership continued, and Australia was never empty.
Mabo overturned terra nullius and held that native title could survive colonization unless validly extinguished. It was a legal concern, a recognition that indigenous law had long existed before colony. The Commonwealth responded with the Native Title Act 1993. It recognized native title in statute and set out processes for claimants, governments, miners, and pastoralists. It aimed to balance recognition with safety for non-indigenous land users.
But translating indigenous spiritual and cultural laws into Western legal evidence created heavy burdens. Claimants had to prove continuous connection, often requiring them to fit relational, spiritual systems into legal categories. This structural tension remains one of the Act's greatest limitations.
Churches supported land rights on moral grounds. They argued dispossession caused deep spiritual harm and that reconciliation required truth telling and restoration of connection to country.
This moral advocacy influenced political will, but it could not reduce legal barriers faced by indigenous communities seeking recognition. Ethical support did not automatically translate into accessible legal outcomes.
In Wilk, Peoples vs. Queensland, the High Court ruled that native title could coexist with pastoral leases unless rights were inconsistent, in which case leaseholders' rights prevailed.
Whig expanded recognition but revealed native titles' fragility when placed against stronger statutory interests. Coexistence often meant subordination. Recognition is not enough. Without access to country, ceremony, and law, identity cannot thrive.
The act ensures order, certainty for individuals, and pathways for recognition.
Overturning a legal fiction is only the beginning. Recognition must reflect our living law, not freeze it into a legal paperwork.
Justice required cultural reparations, co-management, and negotiation that honors indigenous authority.
Marlborough broke the foundation of terra nullius. The Native Title Act built frameworks but introduced new hurdles. Wick expanded possibilities but confirmed limits. Together, they shape progress, but also reveal structural barriers to full justice.